going to get into 7 powerful lessons, things I really wish someone had told me before I hit 30. You can think of it as a bit of a cheat sheet for your 20s. That quote, wow, it hits hard, right? Living on autopilot. That's exactly it. And honestly, these lessons are the things that could have saved me so much time, energy, and just stress. So let's dive right in. Okay, so here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with plans and people, then jump into money and peace. After that, body and growth, and we'll finish up with living with intention. All right, first up, plans and people. This section is all about trying to navigate those, the external pressures that feel like they define pretty much everything in our 20s. And lesson number 1 is, it's a big one. You absolutely do not need to have everything figured out. I mean, society loves to sell us this idea of a perfect straight line, right? But life, it's just not like that. It's messy. And the real skill isn't knowing what's next. It's learning how to pivot when life, throws you a curveball. That adaptability, that's your superpower. Man, looking back, this is what I really, truly wish I had understood. We put so much pressure on ourselves to rush. But the real growth, that happens when you finally give yourself permission to just be. To grow without forcing it, at your own pace. Okay, lesson 2. This one can be tough, but it's so important. Your friendships will change, and that's okay. People they grow in different directions, and it's almost never personal. The big shift, I think, is moving from friendships of convenience to friendships of real intention. So when some friends start to drift away, please don't see it as a failure. It's really just making space for new connections that really align with the person you're becoming. So yeah, just remember that. Losing touch isn't failure. It's just part of evolving. Okay, so we've talked about the external stuff. Now, let's shift our focus inward. Our next section is all about money and peace. Building that rock-solid inner stability. Your income is going to go up, it's going to go down. But your habits, that's what builds real, lasting stability. It's those small, consistent choices, day after day, year after year, that create a foundation that no big promotion can ever replace. And this brings us right to lesson number 3. Your money habits matter so much more than how much you actually earn. I mean, you can have a super high income and still be incredibly fragile financially. Or you could have a lower income and be totally secure. That path on the right, the one built on strong habits, that's the one that leads to real freedom. And believe me, I learned this one firsthand. I moved 5 times across 3 totally different markets in Europe and the US. And the thing that kept me balanced, it wasn't some huge salary. It was just a really simple commitment I made to myself. Stay as debt-free as I possibly could and save whatever I could. Didn't matter if it was just $1 or $100. And in the end, that feeling of safety, of real security, it came from the discipline I built. It didn't come from the number in my bank account. And that's a kind of security that no paycheck can ever buy you. Oh boy, lesson 4. This is one I definitely learned the hard way. Boundaries are there to protect your peace, not your ego. For years, I stretched myself so thin, always saying yes when I really, really meant no. But here's the thing. Boundaries aren't about building walls to keep people out. They're about creating the space you need to show up as your most honest, calm self. Right. So some people might see boundaries as these big, scary walls, or even as a form of punishment. But that's really the immature way to look at it. The mature view? It's seeing them as quiet lines that actually help you stay connected to yourself while staying connected to other people. It's all about respect. So, protecting your energy isn't selfish at all. It's absolutely necessary. And hey, here's a powerful way to reframe this. The next time someone sets a boundary with you, try to see it as a sign of trust. You could even say something like, hey, thank you for trusting me enough to tell me that. Okay, let's keep going. Now we're going to turn our attention even further inward to our physical selves and that constant process of personal growth. And that brings us to lesson number 5. Your body starts talking back, and you really need to listen early. Look, this isn't about some dramatic aging thing. It's just your body finally asking for the care you've been putting off for years. And trust me, the sooner you listen, the more energy and health you're going to protect for the long haul. And the signs, they're usually super quiet at first, right? It's that tiredness that just kind of lingers, or the stress that you physically carry on your shoulders. Or even just noticing that recovery takes just a little bit longer than it used to.
These are those little signals. I'm actually feeling this right now. It's taking me a little longer to get back to that healthy, happy place. But we'll get there. The big lesson here is just to listen before those whispers turn into shouts.
All right, lesson 6 is huge. You will outgrow versions of yourself, and it usually happens really quietly at first. Maybe your old routines don't fit anymore, or your old goals just feel hollow. But letting go isn't a loss. It's actually proof that you're still moving, you're still learning. It's proof that you're alive in your own story. And that shift in perspective, it's everything. Instead of being afraid of this change, we can actually learn to welcome it. Growth isn't always some big dramatic leap. A lot of the time, it's just a slow, quiet turn toward the person you were always meant to become. And that brings us to our final lesson. And this might just be the most important one of all. This is all about how we actually experience our lives as time keeps marching on. So the final lesson, number 7, actually came from some great advice a good friend gave me. And it's simple. Be intentional. See, time doesn't actually speed up as we get older. What happens is our lives just get stuck on autopilot. So being intentional, it's the simple act of turning that autopilot off. It's about actually noticing your life while you're living it. Looking back, that's what I wish I'd done. I wish I had slowed down and just paid more attention to the little moments. But hey, we're all still learning, right? So now I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you wish you had known earlier? Go ahead and share your stories in the comments.